And I'm going to go right up here where it says 2 p.m. live. See that at the top? And all we're going to do is, remember the little trick, when I toggle these on, it says connecting, connecting, connecting. And then as soon as it says online and you see a little viewer count, you know you're good to go and you can start talking to your audience.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and toggle on the YouTube and Facebook. You'll see where it says sending data. It's connecting. And it'll take just a second for that. And this is behind. Kind of ignore this feed here. I usually just stop this feed because it's way delayed. Just ignore that one.
Okay.
There you go. You are live on Facebook. You've got a 0, so nobody's watching yet. They'll all pile in. There you go. So see, now your YouTube is live. So I'm going to go on mute. I'm going to go back over here. And you can start whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. This is meteorologist Chris Sowers here. It's 2 p.m. We're going to do a quick little live video update here on the potential for some severe weather a little bit later down the road here, later this afternoon and into the evening hours. As of now, it's really, really quiet. Not much going on, which is a good thing, although it is blazing hot out here. I'm on the phone currently with my buddy down there in northern Alabama. He's doing the live streaming. And we're actually hotter here right now than we are down there in Alabama and Tennessee and Georgia, if you can believe that. Now, you go down to Florida, where I just came from, a couple weeks ago. No, they got heat index numbers over 110. So not quite that hot, but we've already got heat index values way over 100 degrees right now. In some cases, I've actually seen the highest number at 104. It's, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so we still have at least 2 more hours of peak heating to get through before we start to see the numbers drop down a little bit. All right, now, what we've talked about over the last couple of days, all this heat, all this humidity. Remember, humidity leads to instability. You get a couple of systems passing on by aloft, so you get a little bit of upper-level support or upper-level energy. Boom, you've got the ingredients for some severe weather, or at the very least, some thunderstorms, right? So what we'll do here is we're going to go out to the west here. Let's go back over to the radar. And Drew is on the radar controls. Everybody say hi to Drew. And what we have here, notice the red outline. If you remember this from this past Saturday, the thing that you're looking at here in the red outline, that's a mesoscale discussion that was issued by the Storm Prediction Center. All right, and within that discussion, they decided to go ahead and issue a severe thunderstorm watch. The county shaded there in the orange color. So it's the immediate Pittsburgh area north up into Erie, where we do have some severe thunderstorms popping already. You can see the movement here. Now, those are not going to be impacting the Philadelphia area, as it's hard to see, but if you look closely, you can kind of see just a little bit of a twist there. Not a lot, but just a little bit west of Buffalo. There's let's just call it a mini disturbance, if you will. Oh, this is good call here, Drew. You can kind of see it a little bit better on the satellite. Look just to the left or west of Erie. You can kind of see just a little bit of twist. See that? That's the upper level support that I was talking about. Now, you take that completely out of the equation, and you don't really have to worry about too much today. All right, yes, you'll get some showers and storms because there's so much heat out here, but without that upper level support, you're probably not looking at a lot of severe weather today. All right, now with that being said, the upper level support that you see there, that little twist, will pass by to the north. So we'll see how much severe weather we actually get in our neck of the woods. But the Storm Prediction Center upgraded us yesterday to a level 2 out of 5, and they're saying, hey guys, you in the Philadelphia area, Allentown, Lancaster. Actually, look at this. Is this for today now, Drew? Did they upgrade us?
Yes, that is the latest for today.
Okay, so what they did here, now, we were always in the 2, but, I used the wrong word there. I shouldn't have said upgraded. Did they expand this? It looks like they expanded the level 2, so it now takes up a huge chunk of real estate across the Mid-Atlantic, all of Philadelphia, Allentown, the Lehigh Valley, Delaware Valley, D.C., through Baltimore, New York City, areas just south and west of Hartford, Connecticut, and then westward into the Pittsburgh area. Everybody's under that level 2 out of 5. And what this means is scattered or widespread heavy thunderstorms later this afternoon. All right, Drew, I'll tell you what. Let's go over to the Futurecast product. Let's try to give the folks at home that are watching, oh my gosh, are we up to 96 now? Oh, boy, that number just keeps climbing and climbing and climbing. Okay, so wait, now I've got a 94. What did we have earlier? What was the 96? Do you know?
That was just the HER. That was the HER model we were looking at for earlier. So yeah, current observations. Let's get them pulled up real quick.
Okay, so we're at 90.
The 93 right now, it looks like.
Look at that. See that? Getting a little bit better. Maybe we just keep playing with the buttons here and we'll go lower and lower. How about a heat index, Drew? Before we get into the radar stuff, can we pop a heat index real quick? Do you have that?
Yeah, let's see.
Let's see where we're at right now. Oh, 102. Look at Allentown, 102. Dover, 103. And guys, look, this is why I was saying there's no reason whatsoever for Salem, Cumberland, Cape May, Atlantic, Kent, and Sussex counties not to be in this heat advisory. Everybody is going to be in that 103 to 106 degree range later this afternoon. I don't care what the criteria is. Does it make a difference if you're in the city and it's 102, or if you're in Dover or Vineland and it's 103 or 104? It's awful for everybody. Your body reacts the same. Okay? It's going to be oppressively hot and humid. Just take your breaks out there. If you're someone that has to work outdoors, we've said this a million times, take it easy, stay hydrated, and try, I know it's difficult, try to find some air conditioning. Maybe go to a Wawa real quick for 20 minutes or something. That always does the trick. All right, now let's go over to the modeling, and let's try to take a look at how the model handles what's going to happen later this afternoon with these thunderstorms. All right, clearly nothing going on right now in the immediate Philadelphia area, but you can see what will eventually happen here as we progress along. It looks like the activity gets going off to the northwest. Williamsport, State College, that's 4. It's quiet. 5 o'clock, nothing going on. 6 o'clock, we're in good shape. All right, if your son or daughter has a softball, t-ball game, some kind of a summer league, Garden State League, or something like that, Legion, they're fine through 7 o'clock. There's not much going on. Like we talked about earlier today with the updates, this is a very late day hit. All right, more like after sunset. Let's progress along, Drew. Let's go over to 8, and we're still in good shape. Sun getting ready to set at this point. Let's go over to 9. 9 p.m., we're still looking at some thunderstorms, but they are well west of Philadelphia. 10 o'clock, starting to move into the far western counties. 11 o'clock, it's a broken line right there, right over the county line, Lancaster and Chester County, and then probably in the city by about 11 o'clock or so. All right, so this is a really, really late hit, but it's a hit nonetheless. Now, the good news is we do have timing on our side. Remember, once the sun goes down, you start to lose the heating that the sun provides, right, which creates the instability. So that's good.
Hey, Chris, I'm going to switch over to another model right there. So that was the HER. This is the RRFS model, which has got a little bit different look.
Okay, now the RRFS model, this is eventually going to replace the NAM, if I'm correct, right, Drew? Is that...
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so they created this high-resolution forecast model sort of as a, everything gets upgraded, in time. And this is sort of the NAM's upgrade. And from what I've seen with this particular model, now it's very, very new. I haven't had a chance to see how it handles every convective situation. But from what I've seen with this particular model, it does, in my opinion, I don't know, I'm going to have to read up on it some more, but in my opinion, from what I've seen, is it does tend to make things look a little bit worse in terms of storms than they actually are, right? You can confirm that, Drew?
100%.
100%, okay.
And it blows up storms pretty much everywhere when other models don't. So I would say this would be an absolute worst case scenario.
Okay.
Today.
So if you heard Drew, this will be an absolute, what you're about to see here is probably going to be an absolute worst case scenario. All right, so this is 3 o'clock. All right, right there. All right, it's 2 o'clock. There's not a single speck on the radar. So the chances of this happening here, at least by 3, are slim. All right, we're an hour away. I mean, hey, maybe. We'll wait and see what happens here. But there's 4. It's interesting, too, there, Drew. It looks like they're in a line, almost like there's a little boundary. Maybe it's picking up on like a bay,
or something?
Yeah, like an outflow boundary, a bay breeze type event. That's 5 o'clock. There's 6. This is a lot more active than the HRRR. That's 6. Let's go to 7. All right, 7 o'clock, you got 2 areas of concern according to this model. One near the Dover area, Kent and Sussex counties in Delaware, and another one north of the Pennsylvania Turnpike up into the Lehigh Valley. So upper Bucks County, Northampton, Lehigh counties, and then into, let's say, northwestern portions of Berks County. And then, of course, the Poconos, the Wilkes-Barre, Scranton area getting hit pretty good at that point, too. Let's advance it to 8, Drew. Let's see what's going on here. Still a couple. Wow, that's a beefy line by Harrisburg. Do you see that, Drew? Hazleton, southwest, through Harrisburg, moving into Gettysburg, getting ready to push over York. There's 9 o'clock. Hold on, bud. Let's go to 10. Let's see what it shows at 10. There's 10 o'clock. All right, there's 11. All right, so both models eventually, both high-resolution forecast models eventually show showers and thunderstorms. The HRRR is much, much later and not nearly as widespread. The RRFS shows us getting hit pretty good and has the action beginning a lot sooner in the afternoon. According to the RRFS, it would suggest that the evening commute's going to be impacted. The HRRR suggests no way, Jose. We're going to hold everything off until after about 8 p.m. or so. So let's kind of split the difference. Let's just say maybe 5 to 11, okay? That's when I would keep an eye to the sky if you have outdoor plans, especially west of Philadelphia, because it's going to hit those counties first. Everything's moving from west to east across the tri-state. All right, there's a look at, that's current. You saw the lightning strikes out there by St. Mary's, well northwest of State College. Let's go over to, I tell you what, Drew, let's go over to dew points. Let's just see where we're sitting there. Go over the observations, yeah, and we'll kick in the dew point. All right, so that's the latest heat index as of 2 p.m.
You may have to click that for me.
You want me to do? Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. My connection dropped for a minute. Not anything to do with yours, but.
Okay. There we go. Oh, Drew, I don't like what I'm saying, buddy. Oh, that's terrible. We got 74 in Allentown, 73 in Philadelphia. Now, you guys at home watching, you want to hear something funny? When I was in Florida, I would have took this all day, every day. This would have been a break, believe it or not, for me down there. Because when I moved up here about, what have I been up here now? I've been up here for about 11 days now. When I moved up here, we were consistently seeing dew points between 78 and 80 every single day already, and it was only May. So this is awful for us right now because we've been so incredibly comfortable recently. But for Florida standards, this is actually not all that bad. If you're at Disney World, you'll take a 73-degree dew point. Do we have the ability, Drew, to maybe pan out a little bit, go a little bit wider, and go farther to the south? That's just curious. Let's see what's going on. This particular model, Gary Sowers Hilton, as I am not in my house just yet. I close in another week and a half. Can't wait, because it's not easy living out of a suitcase. Thankfully, I've got a lot of good support here with Drew and Landon helping me out, because everything of mine is in suitcases and pack bags, and trying to watch Paigey and a sick dog, it's just not been very easy. I'll have an update on Murphy's condition later this afternoon. He was looking better yesterday. Today he's a little sluggish, but we've got him a little drugged up on codeine. The mesoscale discussion, the area outlined in red. All right, so you know what? Thanks for putting that up, Drew. So you see the moderate threat there for winds over 60 miles per hour. If we do get a watch issued for our neck of the woods, one, I think it's probably going to be for the counties west of the Delaware River, okay? And two, wind. Straight line wind is going to be the primary threat here. The hail threat and the tornado threat, very, very low today. It's not to say you can't get them, all right? But it just means that, on a scale of 1 to 10, well, you can see it right there. Hail was just a 20% and even lower in some regards. And the tornado threat is 0. Okay, so you can never say never, but those are good odds. You can see the wind threat is up to 60%. So if we're going to see any kind of severe parameter today, it's going to be strong straight line winds. Straight line winds obviously don't sound as menacing or fearful as a tornado, but remember, you can get some good damage with a straight line wind. We've certainly seen our fair share over the last few years, not just in derechos and straight line wind events like that. Downbursts and microbursts. I mean, we've had quite a bit of straight line windstorms lately. So when you get a lot of heat and humidity like this, it's almost like a pressure cooker, right? And so the atmosphere just at one point just unloads, just explodes. It's a lot of heat energy. So we'll have to watch and wait and see how things pan out. Looks like you got some storms up there by Poughkeepsie. Good call with that one, Drew. That's north. Actually, that's the road. Is that 87? I think that's 87. That's the main road we take into. It is, yeah. That's the road we take into Lake Placid. You can see in the Catskills, we got some heavy thunderstorms there, some lightning strikes south of downtown Albany. And between Newburgh and Poughkeepsie, looks like you got a couple of downpours there. That's interesting because that's a lot farther out in advance of that upper level disturbance, Drew, that's out there by Lake Erie. So it is interesting, right? It is interesting to see that. I'm wondering if we do get something trying to pop. Look at that, Drew. Look at that. Look in southern Chester County.
Yeah, I've got a little showers trying to go, so that model may be onto something.
Right? Tell me that RRFS is going to end up nailing this. We'll see. Here we are bad-mouthing it, right? We're bashing it, saying it's usually overdone.
It says we'll show you.
This is why you can never say never. I remember I did television for 26 years, and I hate hedging, right? But you have to, because this is meteorology. This is weather. You're working with nothing but variables. There are no constants. And so it's, I give this kind of a joke, right? If I say what's 2 plus 2, it's easy, right? It's 4. Everybody knows that. But if I say what's 2 plus 3 or 4 or 5, then how do you answer that? And you know what I mean? That's kind of how dynamics and thermodynamics and all that stuff work. There's really no, it's a lot of variables here. And so, if this boundary suddenly takes off and thunderstorms flare up here, do we get new boundaries on that boundary that flare up more storms? Or do they suffocate? You know what I mean? Because maybe the storm in front of them just killed the updraft and the one behind it. I mean, there's so many little silly things that go into this. And, I'm going to go on a little tangent here, Drew, so forgive me. But, I love when people say, I wish I got paid all that money to be wrong, or whatever, 50% of the time, or 60%, whatever they say. First of all, I don't make all that money. So I don't know where that ever came from. Second of all, you try telling the future. I mean, we can only you try predicting the future. We can only use the models, right? And we use it as guidance. And, sometimes they lead us down the right road, the right path, and other times they make us look silly. And believe me, I've been caught. I've had a couple of events where I've just been like scratching my head saying, oh my gosh, I can't believe how this panned out when I told everybody this was going to happen. You know what I mean? All right, so this is what we're going to watch here. We'll wait and see this area southwestern Philadelphia. According to the RRFS, this was the area that was going to light up first. Okay, the high res, the HRR. Didn't really have much until after about maybe 7, 8 o'clock this evening. Okay? Regardless, we're going to watch the area closely over the next few hours. I will be back along because I am dripping sweat right now. It's so oppressive out here. I'll be back along in a little bit. Let's say 4 o'clock or so. We're going to have another video update. And remember, you can always stay on my Facebook page or SowersSkywatch.com, and I will have frequent post updates going on all day on those two locations as well. But as we leave you,